Hello, everybody. Good to be back with you. I want to talk really briefly just now about the Great Awakening, or what I'm calling the Great Soul Awakening, or the Great Awakening of the Souls. So I posted a little bit on Facebook, and other places just the last couple days, December 21st. I didn't expect anything. I don't pay much attention to astrological phenomena, but what I experienced was waking up with a headache and a great deep bubble of melancholy and angst. And over the course of a very short period of time, as I felt into it, it rose up, expanded, flowed, melted, and turned into revelations from the inside, and an experience of profound, it's not a strong enough word, cosmic shift that reorganized a lot of what I know and how I see the world. And again, from the inside out. And when I reached out to a few friends and a few colleagues to ask, did you happen to experience anything like this? Almost everybody said yes. Today, yesterday, and which just reinforced my own experience and inspired me, motivated me to look even deeper into what's happening. So without, confusing any issues, I want to say that something has happened. It's obvious that something has happened. Everything comes from the Torah. The Torah is the blueprint for creation, the divine blueprint for creation. So whenever anything happens in the world, it's because something came down, or something was internalized or fully processed through the blueprint. That's just how it works. Everything comes from the higher world. Everything comes from the inner template. But we're marching along through time and space as humanity, as individuals, and as a collective. And as we do, we are aligning more and more, whether we know it or not, with that divine template, with our destiny, with the picture of our world and our own human experience from the future. So think about everything. Think about every possibility in the time-space continuum. You might want to see it as a giant sphere, like a holographic kind of sphere. Everything that is going to happen, everything that even could happen, already exists in some place, in some dimension of potential in this holographic sphere. You could call it, again, the womb of creation. So when we look to actually align ourselves with some desired outcome, we want to look at the image. What would that look like? The template of that thing from the future, where it already exists as a point in this sphere. I hope this isn't beyond people, but in the time-space continuum, in the present moment, I think most of us are familiar with at least this idea that everything already exists as a potential. So it's there. If nothing has to be created from nothing, God already did that. But we need to match that desired future, or that destined future, even if we're not aware that we desire it. So either with our thoughts, with our resonance, with our emotions, with our actions on all different levels. So what seems to have just happened, or is currently happening, is that humanity as a whole, and especially in this year of 2020, humanity as a whole is already heavy into the redemption process, but there's been a lot of trance. There's been a lot of deep sleep. There's been a lot of unconsciousness. I really believe that it's nobody's fault, or I don't really believe that. I believe that it's not your fault, and it's not my fault. I believe that there are forces that in many cases, enclose themselves in people that don't have great intentions. And those forces have come out, or are coming out into a large degree, in brainwashing, propaganda, fear, distraction, consumerism, however you want to look at it. There's a lot to say about this, but it's not the main point right now. The main point is that we've been pulled into a space, into a resonance, into a place in the time-space continuum, into a projected future that is not in alignment with our destiny, is not in alignment with our desires, and is not in alignment with our true potential or purpose. So in order to move into something that is in alignment, we're going to move there anyway. We're moving there anyway. So what's happening with the corona, what's happening with the fear, what's happening with the, ELECTIONS, what's happening with all of that is a chaos that, as I've said before, could really scare you. And you could look deeper, and you need to look deeper if you want to move beyond the fear. But also consider that any emotion that you have, any reactive emotion that you have now that's triggered in you, including fear or any other, anger, sadness, shame, guilt, judgment, any of it is all primarily fear, is all also happening, like all of this process, in order to wake us up and shake us up. So when a deep emotion that is not appealing, that is not desired, like fear, comes up from inside of you, look at it like snake energy that is showing up in your system so that you can debug it, basically. It's not an accident that it's called a virus. This entire thing, including the agendas that are fostering it, and if you believe this, biolab that produced the media, whatever it is that's going on, is all snake energy. The reason that it affects us, that it has the power to affect us, is because we have that resonance. We have those trigger points, those balls of condensed, trapped snake energy within us that comes up in the form of these toxic emotions, primarily, again, fear and shame. So whenever those are triggered, what's happening is we project outside. We project the fear onto something outside of ourselves. What we want to start to do now, in order to change that resonance and to connect with the desired future and with our destiny, part of that is visualizing it and understanding it. Part of it is understanding, looking from the bigger perspective, that everything that's triggered in the shake up and wake up that's coming from inside of us is on behalf of our potential to debug our system. When you debug your system, every time you get triggered, and instead of reacting to the trigger, shutting down, projecting out, defending yourself against, or whatever, you go inside from that deeper perspective, and you're like, oh, hello, virus. Hello, inner snake energy. Thank you for showing yourself to me. And then you allow yourself to feel the energy in your body. It's key, the body. Your body's holy. Your body, believe it or not, according to Kabbalah, comes from a higher source than your soul. So your body has the ability to process all of these things, all of these resonances, all of these energies, and to harmonize them with your destiny. So looking forward, where are we going? We're going into a universe of oneness. We're going to a universe where each one of us, as we claim our sovereignty, as we express ourselves from the inside more and more, in the same way, but the opposite, almost paradoxically, the more you are truly expressing your real self, your deeper self, the more you will see yourself as part of a greater whole. The more you see your own greatness, not from ego, but from actual inner vision, the more you will see other people's greatness. The more you acknowledge and embrace those trigger emotions. Again, I'm going to keep calling them snake energy, because that's what they are. Those vibrational pockets of toxic energy, emotion bound energy that comes from the internalization of the snake, whose gematria, numerological equivalent, is Mashiach, is the Redeemer, the Messiah. So the more you see those pockets of snake energy, and you see them from this larger perspective, I'm detoxing, I'm debugging. And as I debug the pathways to that vision that already exists in the space-time continuum as an unactualized potential, the goal for me individually and for all of us together, for the entire cosmos, the divine vision of the world of heaven on earth that is redemption, that great soul awakening. Every time I see something come up that seems to be in the way, when I debug it, by again embracing it, understanding what its purpose is, allowing it to flow through. Remember, I said, more people are now than were before, but in the beginning, as I started speaking, I said, on the 21st of December, I woke up with a deep melancholy and sadness and a headache and worry and anxiety. And as I focused on it in my body, feeling the feelings in my body, this is so key, in your body. So it started to move up, like a giant bubble, started to move up through my body, expand out, and underneath it was a flow from my inner self, from my soul, of revelations that rocked my world. Okay, so what happens inside of those dense balls of darkness, not just what comes from outside, but where it triggers us inside, is our most powerful light, but it's compacted, so densely compacted that it can't shine. It's like a black hole. So the more you look at it with love, the more you look at it from this larger perspective, the more you allow it to flow up, the more you understand the context, the more it will uncompact and start to shine. Your greatest power, your greatest light, your deepest truth, your most profound insights, your ultimate path into your divine essence is through those compacted dark energies that are getting triggered now. That is, from a divine perspective, what the corona is about. Corona means crown, which is the highest level of divine expression, the highest expression of divine essence and also of your soul's essence. That's called Keter or crown. All of the chaos is simply a shake-up and a wake-up to detach us from the programming, from the limitation, from living and seeing inside of a box, functioning and identifying ourselves, seating our consciousness in the most external version of us and perceiving our universe from its most external version, which is nothing but stories that people are making up. People are making up stories big time right now, and they're broadcasting them across every possible media, which is why it seems so crazy, because the stories aren't lining up anymore. They're different, conflicting stories. Why are there conflicting stories? You know, is this real? Is this not real? Is this true? Is it not true? Should I take the VACCINE because of the censorship on it? Or should I not? All those are narratives that are like pieces of paper covering up this deep, 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 deep truth and this deep process that's moving and flowing and is alive. And you are so much a part of it. And as you do this, you will feel more and more, as I did more intensely than I ever have done in this lifetime so far, you will start to feel that the more you are your real self, your deepest self, your flowing, fluid, connected, divine self, the more you will see that you're part of something much bigger, that you have a unique, absolutely essential role in a collective, in a vast, divine collective. And that is what I'm for now calling the awakening of the souls. This is the awakening of the souls. So what I would like to do, and also, you know, I happen to have my sun sign. I said in the beginning, I don't pay much attention to astrology. I really don't. And I know that according to the Torah, we're allowed to use astrology to help us understand our nature, but we are not allowed to predict the future because we are above the stars. You know, we are driving the car should we choose to connect to that divine plan and take our part in the free choice universe through our personal sovereignty and our connection to the divine, to God's sovereignty and God's plan. But it happens to be that my sun sign is Aquarius, and I have a lot of those tendencies, but I never took it seriously at all until it occurred to me when I had this vast, vast, unprecedented shift on the 21st of December that maybe we have entered what people are calling the Age of Aquarius. So a lot of people are feeling it. Maybe you are also. Whether you're feeling it as increased anxiety and turbulence, like when I woke up on that morning, when was that, Tuesday? Or whether you're feeling it as insights, awarenesses and connectedness that you've never experienced before. And why does it work like that? Why are both part of the same process? Again, because the darkness, the light, the most brilliant light, and the light, Dafka, specifically the light that shines from the inside out, your own light as a luminary, as a divine soul and clothed in layers of constricting consciousness and a body in a physical world. So that the greatest light, that inner illumination, that inner shining is compacted, it's concealed until you're ready for it in those tightly wound, dense packets of darkness, which comes across as fear energy, shame energy, guilt energy, judgment energy, insecurity, unsafety, anxiety, anger, sadness, all that stuff. So we'll stop here. Know that that is your greatest light. Know that it's here on purpose, that Mashiach, the Gematria, the numerological equivalent of Mashiach, of the Messiah, of the Redeemer, of the central soul of all mankind, is the same Gematria as Nachash, a snake. The snake in the Garden of Eden was internalized when Adam and Eve, of whom we were all part, ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, good and evil, good and evil, good and evil, good. That duality, that dichotomy, that conflict. When we go into that dense energy from a deeper space, with awareness of that we're moving toward an ideal template, and everything that's happening is part of that now. It's accelerating. It's deepening, but it's also becoming so much more amazing if you allow the energy to flow. So the more you feel that energy coming up, the disturbing, the triggering energy, the more it means that the flow is trying to come out. And because of the way we're trained to react to those emotions, those fears, those impulses, those triggers, we're pushing it down. So if you feel like, consider that something's trying to flow up into your awareness and you're pushing it down, mostly unconsciously, by training, by, distraction. Most of it's not coming from the inside. Most of it now is coming from the outside. There's literally a war upon humanity, an assault on us, but from just a little bit deeper. It's all here to shake us up and wake us up and open us up in the great awakening of souls. So that said, I want to invite you to a very special event, which I am creating with a few of my friends and fellow teachers, healers. I'm calling it the Great Soul Awakening, and it's a 2-day event. It starts Monday. The first part is Monday, December 28th, this coming Monday, starting at 5 o'clock Israel time, which is 10 a.m. New York time, 7 a.m. Pacific time, and it's going to go on for a few hours. I'm going to have some amazing guest hosts. We're going to have healing. We're going to have Torah wisdom, but we're also going to have you guys come on and share your insights, share what you're letting go of, share what you're taking on. Like, let's look at together. It's like an interactive, co-creative event. Look together at the future, at that ideal blueprint, that template. Look at what has been in the way, what's being aroused to our attention, together praying and healing to let it go and to step into a more powerful, aligned pathway, a pathway of alignment. As we leap, take a quantum leap from this unworkable, breaking old past into an amazing, and I mean amazing, miraculous awakening. You can feel this way too. Maybe you do already. All right, anyway, hope to see you there. And the sign up is going by in the banner. So you can see it right here at gateofunity.com/Great Soul Awakening. gateofunity.com/Great Soul Awakening. Sign up, it's free. Share with your friends. The more of us who are there, the more of a collective we're going to create, the more shifting and moving we're going to do together. Oh, and then Monday is going to be a hands-on workshop, Release Your Soul Light Masterclass and workshop. So, but anyway, starts on Monday. Again, gateofunity.com is scrolling by right now. gateofunity.com/Great Soul Awakening. Sign up, share with your friends, and we'll see you there. The light is pushing up from the inside, and that's an unbelievable thing. Okay, to be continued. Lots of love.